Nobody wants to live in fear. We all try to get rid of it. But what if fear isn't holding you back? What if it's actually helping you? Most people spend their whole life running away from fear, avoiding the thing that scares them the most. I used to be the same. I used to be a victim of fear. I used to think I'm not capable enough. All of those anxious thoughts. If I'm meant to be something, if I'm meant to do something, I shouldn't have fear about it. I shouldn't be afraid of it, right? But that's actually backwards. What I fail to understand is the things that you are most afraid of. Those are the exact things that are pointing you towards your growth. Here's the thing, it's not your fault because we've all been programmed to believe that fear is our enemy. We always see fear as a threat, something to overcome, something to push, something to eliminate. Fear shouldn't be in our life, it's hindering our progress. It's getting in the way of what we're trying to achieve. And as long as you are bound by fear, you cannot escape the cycle. And that's why every time you have worry about something, you start becoming more anxious, you start having fear towards it. It gets worse over time. And that's why you question why fear is here in the first place. Why is it with me? When you want something, fear shows up, you raise your hand, you said, okay, I can't do this. You stay stuck. And that cycle just repeats over and over again. And a lot of us think that we need to fight fear, or we never really question why fear is there in the first place on a deep level. Now, what if I tell you that fear is both a sign of unworthiness, but it's also a sign of a light at the end of the tunnel? It is all depending on how you choose to see it. Most people who see fear as a threat will always experience it as a threat, because whatever you fight against, it will persist. That's the law of the universe. It just gives you what you want. When you think of it as a threat, you're indicating to the universe that you want more threat, because you're experiencing it in the moment. If you're always in flight or fight mode, then the universe is gonna just look at you and think that you're so comfortable in this position, clearly you want more, right? And that's why if you have a bad morning, it will turn into a bad day. It's because you have that perception that because you have a bad morning, the rest of the day is gonna be bad. And usually that's what happens. Now, we as humans, it is inevitable for us to experience fear. You can't avoid it. You can't try to make it disappear. It's a part of our life. It is just one of those emotions that we feel. So what if you stop fighting it, you stop making it as an enemy, and try to befriend it instead? If you can't make it disappear, literally change your perception towards it. Think of fear as a sign that you're growing. Because if you're not growing, you're comfortable. And if you're comfortable, nothing is changing. You're probably just gonna continue the things that you normally would do on a day-to-day basis because you're comfortable with it. Meaning that your normal day-to-day life are gonna be prolonged. It's just gonna stay the same. Now with fear on the other hand, it is like an indication, something telling you that you are growing, meaning that you are going outside of your comfort zone, that you're not doing the things that you would normally do, and you're growing. So simply when you're comfortable, yes, there tends to be no fear, but there's also no expansion. Everything stays the same. But if you want to change your life, if you want to reach that dream reality, then fear is not your enemy. So stop thinking that when you have fear, it means that you shouldn't be doing that thing. It is definitely a go sign for you to do it, to do whatever you're afraid of. Of course, if it's for the better. Now, on the other hand, the remedy of fear is understanding. I want you to pause for a moment and take a look at your surroundings. Go outside, touch grass, not for you to just rejuvenate yourself, but for you to also notice the abundance in this world. The world that we live in right now, it's full of intelligence, it's full of supply, it's full of support. There's unlimited of water, greeneries, air, and in hindsight, there's actually nothing to fear of. We humans, we just like to create things, and we create fear. Because what happens if you can only see a fraction of your reality is that you're gonna start creating this unnecessary fear, unnecessary doubt. But when you put into perspective, the universe is actually complete. It is full of everything. It is infinite. But also because we can't really perceive that, we just created polarity within this world. We created the idea of finite, of lack. And because of all of these limiting beliefs that we have, it dulls our vision. It paralyzes our mental force that actually needs to be free in order for us to dream, to create the life that we want. When we see fear as a bad thing, we just can't see opportunities that are in front of our eyes. And again, that's why you label fear as bad. You simply can't see that fear is actually an opportunity for you, even when it's standing in front of you, even when it's screaming at you. So there's no such thing as you are lacking. Your fear is just probably telling you what you haven't understood this whole time. Now that I know, okay, Fear is basically like a compass to me. It's telling me where I need to go. But how do you differentiate between fear that you're not supposed to be doing a thing versus your intuition telling you not to do that thing? Which one is it? Of course, if it's fear, then you probably should do that thing. But if it's intuition, then you would want to hear that voice that says to stop, to pause. And this is also where I feel like the line is a bit blurred, because if you can't really distinguish whether that's fear or intuition, you can just use it as a leeway and use intuition as an excuse to not do the thing that you're supposed to be doing. So how do you know which one's which? I think from my personal experience, I can say that fear feels like panic. It feels like pressure, like it's screaming at you, telling you that this is urgent, like no, you should not do this. There's a bunch of what ifs. What if you fail? What if people don't want to buy your thing? What if people don't want to watch your stuff? It is usually future focus, focusing on like the what could go wrong scenarios. Your excuse for this is probably just, I can't, I don't want to do it, I don't have enough, I'm not worthy enough. It's like a gentle inner knowing that's telling you that you should not be doing that thing. It also feels genuine. This is not aligned right now. This is a different path. It's quiet, clear, and present. If you feel like, yes, this isn't mine, I need to find another way that's best suitable for me, without having again that anxious thought of like, you're not doing this because what if something bad happens, right? Then that's intuition. So a quick exercise that I love to do when distinguishing two of these is just closing my eyes, be in the present, and ask, if I had zero fear of failure of anything with the thing that I'm choosing right now, what would I feel? If you still have these excuses, fear, doubt, worry, then that's probably based off fear. Now, if you also want to double check to make sure that this is your intuition, just sit with this thought for a few days and see how you react. See if your decision changes after a few days. Because also from my experience, what tends to happen if it's based off fear is that I'll probably have another fear build up within those few days of me not making decision yet. Let me tell you briefly about my situation a while back. Before I started this channel, I built an agency in the Airbnb space. Now, before that transition of me leaving that agency and going to build my personal brand instead, I had quite literally months of debating which career should I pursue, what should I do after I stop that agency thing. Because up until that point, before I shut down the agency, that's literally all I have. That's the identity that I have. Now, I shut it down also because my intuition is telling me to do so. Of course, initially I thought that it was fear because I had not grown that much yet. It's just a small agency. I just had a few clients that I managed, and again, I just sit with it for months, and I finally realized that this is not my passion. This is not aligned with who I am. I could not really connect with the work, and I could not really give my all to this business, and so that's why I decided to shut it down. It's beyond the fear of not making it big enough. It's beyond the fear of not delivering a good enough service, but it's just simply a gap that I feel within myself. I know that this is not what I meant to do. I meant to do something that is more me, and that's how I decided to do this instead, to build my own brands from scratch that aligns with my passion and who I am as a person, and so that I can also pour everything wholeheartedly into building this business and giving my best to my customers, to my community. That's what I want to do. If it's fear, I probably am just making excuses that I don't want to continue on my agency because it's just not scalable, it's hard to manage clients, and there's no deeper meaning behind it. I could still probably just go forward, right? So having fear overall also just means that you have desires in the first place. I have the desire to help other people, not just in the Airbnb space, but on a bigger scale. That's more than enough proof that you have the power to advance. So you have nothing to worry about. Because without desires, you don't have fear. You won't have to worry a thing if you don't have an end goal. Fear just simply means that you have the power to succeed. Otherwise, you wouldn't have that thought in the first place. You wouldn't even want it if you couldn't have it. It's just as hard to turn back as it is to move forward. The distance is the same, the effort is the same. The only difference is what you choose to look at. Are you looking at what you're leaving, which is your comfort, which is also a hard thing? Or do you just prefer to do that hard thing, but also advance, but also move forward at the same time? When you choose to see fear as a sign, you're closer to the end goal than you think. Again, drill this onto your head. Choose fear as your power, not your enemy. It is one of your most powerful weapons in this game. Start listening to it. Thank you so much for being until the end of this video. If you're still here, comment power. It's just nice to engage with you every once in a while. To that, I also have a little side note. If you want to anchor all of the things that you know about manifestation, about living the dream life, actually being consistent with it, and maintaining that higher version of yourself, I am building a solution just for that. But of course, I built this all for you. So if you have just 2 or 3 minutes of your time, I would love for you guys to fill in the form that I have in the description below. It's a couple of questions that helps me understand what it is that you're struggling with so that I can build a solution for that in the future. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, your day, and I'll see you guys soon.